Hello everyone, this is Debbie from Ink and Page, and I am here today with a second bonus video for Winter's Heart, which was our 12 Days of Winter Wonder project for 2025. That was 12 straight days of crafting, printables, and videos for the first 12 days of this month. If you missed it, don't worry, you can just go down in the description below and sign up. There's a link down there. I will mention there was a minor hiccup with the sign up. I have all the signups hosted on a subdomain, and there was a little connection issue that we had last week. It has been fixed. I am in the middle of switching my website over because I have a lot of exciting things planned for you guys for next year, but the subdomain kind of got lost in the shuffle and got pointed in the wrong direction. So it has now been fixed, so you can sign up for all the projects or any of the projects that you want now. All right. If you guys would please like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And that just helps me make more of these videos and more of these free projects. So I would appreciate that. And let's get into what we're doing today. Okay, so we're going to be doing a lot of kind of random items that I've tried to loosely tie together. There's a lot of cover work in this video and a few other little minor projects that I wanted to run by you guys. So let's go through the printables. There's not a ton, but I do have a few things in here that I kind of wanted to add to the journal. So the number one thing is that not everyone, but some people requested a spine with the name of the project on it. So I did make that, and I'll go through that today on how to use this. One important note here is that there were two spine options for this project. One was a 3-inch and one was a 2-inch, okay? This is the 3-inch. And the part that is highlighted in like the lighter white color, that is the 2-inch. Okay, so if you made a 2-inch spine, just cut off these two edges. And if you made a 3-inch spine, just use the whole thing. Okay, or you could cut it too, but if you want to layer or do whatever you want to do. Okay, and then the other thing I'm wanting to make is like a sequenced set of tabs, so when they are in the journal, you'll see the tabs on the side and it will have like a little phrase on it. And I picked Walking in a Winter Wonderland. I gave you a set of blank ones as well in case you wanted to put your own quote on there. I just kind of felt like this phrase in particular kind of encapsulated this journal, so that's why I picked that, and we'll put these in today, and you can just see how they end up working out. Okay, and then I also made, so there's two collage pages, and these are gonna come in handy later when I show you what I'm doing with my cover. Two background papers. One is this kind of like grungy kind of linen-y one, and then this is like kind of like a textured paint one here, which has got a pretty, it's got a pretty cool look to it. I was trying to focus on background type items, so that's what's up with these two papers in particular. And then lastly, I have some frames. These I am probably not going to get to this week because I have so much other stuff on the bubble right now, but I am planning on implementing them, and if I don't get to them today, I will do them next week. So, and then there's just a couple random images because I had room for them, so I just tossed those guys on there because they were pretty. Okay, so here's this, and let's get crafting. Okay, so before I get started on the actual crafting, I want to talk about snowflake charms. I had a number of questions about these, and I had purchased some for myself, and then I went back and looked again, and I picked up a couple more, and I wanted to show you guys what I bought and tell you what I would recommend in terms of snowflake charms. I will link all of these ones below that I'm about to show you. I'm just going to grab this here. Okay, so for this, I bought 3 different sets of snowflake charms, mostly because I wanted to check them out, and then I would be able to tell you what the situation was here. So this is the first set here are these, and this is these are just plain snowflake charms. These are, if you want just a plain snowflake charm, these are the ones to get. These are great. They are a lot of different ones, and also they have a variation, and I don't know if I've used them all out of this bag. They came in separate bags. I think I did. I'll show you the variation in a second. That has spots for you to glue little rhinestones on. These are great. These were 100 and... Oh, these were 100 for $6.99 is what these were. And I really like these a lot. This is a huge amount. This is 250 for, and these were $7.99. These are good, but I don't like them as much. This one is a little bit weird. I don't know what's going on right there with that one. And also this one, I don't love how this does that. So, but you know, again, they're really pretty. And if you're looking for a variation, they do have a lot. This has like a lot more different like styles of snowflake in it than this one here, but I think these are much more usable in overall. Even though these are a lot less because it's 100. I mean, it's 250 for only $1 more than the 100 here. Okay, and then the last ones, these were the first ones I actually got, and I didn't like. I was like so enamored with them that I didn't notice that they didn't have. They're not actual charms. They're just little snowflake ornaments, and they have little rhinestones on them, and they're super pretty. I apologize for my green fingers. I had a little earlier situation and could not get the green off my hands. But these are super pretty. They have little crystals on them already, and they were 120 for $14.99. So these are a little bit spendy. They are extremely pretty. I've glued them to a couple of different things, but you can't hang them from anything because they don't actually have a loop or anything on them. So anyway, those are the ones that I picked up just to see, because I wanted to take a look at, you know, what were the options out there. So I will link these below. These are the ones that I've used the most in my journal. And because they're the most flexible, they look the most like normal snowflakes. I've done all kinds of stuff to them. I've covered them in glitter. I have, I've painted them. The paint situation, not as great. Oh wait, I was going to try to get one of the glittery ones over here. Yeah, this is one of the ones I covered in glitter. So it's a little bit weird, but it looks kind of pretty when it's on the actual, like journal, because it looks like it's snow. Okay. All right. So that's all of my charm information. If you have any questions, just stick them below and I will try to get to those. Now, one of the things, like I did have a few days of rest and relaxation this week. So I did do a couple of things in here. So I just wanted to go over a couple of them with you and just, you know, show you what I did and redo it, and case you guys want to do it as well. Okay, so I put this on here, and this just slides up and down here, and I just love to have an extra slidey element, right? This is the snowflake I was talking about from that other, from the bunch that I liked. It has one that you can glue the little rhinestones as like little flat round areas that these can be glued to very easily, and I really, you know, you guys know I love the rhinestones, so I really like how that, you know, that came out. I wish I had, like, I don't have white rhinestones. This is the closest to white I have, and they're more iridescent. So I wish I had white ones, but I don't. I will invest in those at some point in the future probably, but for right now I've just been using the iridescent, and I think they look really pretty. So for this little slider, all I did was use the belly band that was there, and I have another page marked here that I want to, okay, yeah, because I wanted to put another one in over here, so I figured I'll just wait and do it on the video. Okay, so I have this one here, which I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue down on here. Now, you could do this one of two ways. I'm going to do it the way that is easiest for me. If you want to, you could put the slider on this before you glue down the belly band, but for me, it's easier to see what I'm doing if I have this down first. Okay, so I've got this here. I'm just going to glue the top and the bottom to the page to start with. But I feel like this is a super easy kind of mechanism that you can put in there that's interactive, that isn't just a belly band, you know what I mean? It just is one extra thing that you can do to, you know, add a little bit of interest to your journal. And the first one that I used was a cluster that I had made when we did clusters in the 12 days part when we were actually like doing crafting every day. I just want to get this centered here. Make sure I got that where I want it. And then I'm going to just clip this. Sorry for my arm here. Okay. I forgot to get out enough clips ahead of time. Okay, so I'm just going to clip these on here on the very end. So this holds this on here while I'm going to do the rest of it. Okay. All right, so there's that part there. And now I have this card here. This was from the waterfall situation here. This thing here. This raven was one of the cards. So I just pulled out one of those from my my stuff here. And I got one of the little tiny flashcards that says Wonder. And I got myself a couple of little scraps here of fabric. And what I'm going to do here is just glue these down, just so this has a little bit of extra interest on it. And then if I want to later on, I could come back and add a charm to it or whatever. But like, I just want to get it started in terms of decorating so that I have something down here. And then I think I'm going to put this on here. What I'm going to do here is I am going to glue this to the fabric and then cut it, because I find that to be a much easier way to do the whole situation. And I'm going to use Fabri-Tac because I'm gluing on fabric, but I think any glue would work in this particular situation. All right, so I'm going to put that on there. Okay. Pick that up. All right, and then I'm just going to trim around this here, which is going to be a little challenging because there's a sequin right there, but we'll see what happens. Okay, I wanted to see if I could keep a little bit of that on there so it would be shiny. And then I'm going to move that out of the way, and then I'm going to put the snow on the back of it. Let's see here. All right, so I've got this here. And then I'm just going to cut this. And then I have my nice little stack here. And then I can put this like right onto the card here with the raven. So this is going to go down first, and then I'm going to put down my little cluster that I made here. Okay, and then like a lot of the things that I did in this journal over the past couple of days, I did like one thing and then I came back and did another thing. Like I made the, like for the slider part, I made the slider and then I made the, I put on a little charm. I put in the eyelet and then later I put in the charm. So it's kind of like not a lot of this stuff gets done all at once. So I don't like, sometimes I think in a video you get a sense of like, because I'm going from start to finish here, that's how I did it originally, but it's not. So, you know, if that's how you're doing things or that's the kind of time that you have, then you can just, that's the way, you know, that works just as well as this. Okay, I am grabbing. Okay, so I have I have like the edges that I cut off of all of my printables for this project. And I just kept them, I keep them in the side here. I have like a little table with a tray on it. And I've just been using that to do these types of little, you know, projects in the journal. So basically what you want to do is have this strip of paper and then you're going to glue on either side here. So you're just not going to glue it to the, don't put any glue in the middle, just on the two sides. Okay. And then, so what I would do is I would glue the first side and then the second side. Okay. And if you wanted to, you could also do this with it, like I said, off of the journal and then glue the whole assembly down at once. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is just glue this to the back of the card here. And I want to get my placement right, like in terms of where the card is falling on the belly band. And then I'm going to do that. And then I just like to do it like this, and then I just cut it after I'm done. And I think it makes it nice and easy. Give yourself plenty of space between the belly band and where you're gluing this down. And then just double check to make sure that you're not gluing it to your journal. And then it will just move right up and down. And I think that just makes the belly band, you know, it's just one more little interesting thing in your journal. All right, I'm going to give this a quick cut right here. And then if I have to, I can clip it. Hopefully this will dry pretty quick though. And you could come back and add a charm or whatever on here if you wanted to, or you could just leave it the way that it is. You could put a tab on the side of it, you know, you could just, you know, whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you happy. Oh, and this, okay, so the other thing here is, so I punched this border here, and then these are made out of scraps. I wanted to make sure I was kind of highlighting a couple of scrap projects you could do for this. So these are the side offcuts of, this is one of the papers from the kit, and this is actually a side offcut from the Advent bookcase that I did, but it's just like, you know, text on paper. It just happens to be from that kit because I had a lot of scraps from that. And I did save them. So what I was going to do here was glue this down here. So this would have like a little decoration on it, and then come back with a journal card for here later. Okay, so I'm just going to glue this down here by going on here like this, and then I'm just going to cut it. Right up there at the top. And there, I have a little piece left. I can use that for something else. And then this creates like a little bit of a tuck spot here now. So I'll be able to stick something in there if I want. And then that will just decorate the front of this pocket. The other thing I could do is stencil on this with some paint. I've been working on that slowly too, just because I have to let it dry. So it's not a great thing for me to be doing in a video, but I will show you guys when I'm done all the areas that I'm going to stencil for this one. And I have this, I'm going to use this one here, which is this Tim Holtz, like, it's this sweater stencil. I'll link this one below too. It's THS 028. And I just thought that would look really cute with the rest of this journal. Okay. All right. So let's put these tabs on too while we're like inside the journal, because we're going to move outside the journal in a second. So what I thought would be fun with these tabs is to go ahead and put them so like there was one to each signature. So you can see here I started stenciling already here. So there'll be one to each signature. And you can put it wherever you want in the signature, but I just thought it'd be fun to do one for each signature. Do I want to put it there or here? Maybe here. Okay, so this one I can, you know, I'll start with this one. This is the walking. I'm going to start with this one here, and then we'll just work our way down. All right, so I'm just going to go on both sides of this. And the easiest way to do that is to just kind of touch these guys together here and then pull them apart. And then you have glue on both sides, and it's not too much glue because you kind of split the difference between the two. My glue just loves to come, like, it's when it's really full, like, it just likes to come racing out. Oh my gosh. I need to pay attention to what I'm doing when I'm talking. That was a close one. I just want to get that lined up where I want to have it. And then I'm going to come back and round this corner so it matches. But I'll let the glue dry first. Okay. All right. And now I'm going to go with In a Winter, and then I'm going to move to the second signature for this one. And I'm just going to look for a good page for this. I really apparently like the middle signature because I think that's where I put like a lot of my decorating. Like all these pages are full of stuff. Okay, let's see here. Maybe this one here would be a good one. All right, so let's get I'm going to get my placement, and then I will glue it. Woo! I'm just going to do the same thing. I will get the glue down on here. And if you wanted to too, you could put a charm on one of these. Okay. I have an approximate location here. That looks pretty good. And then I can move on to my last one. I just think it'll be so cute if you can see that, like, this one's a little bit too far down. Oops. There you go. Now you should be able to see that on the edge. I'm just going to tip this up here because it's not straight. Okay, I just wanted to make sure it was like straighter. That's better. Okay. It was really crooked before. Okay, so I got that one, and now I can do this one. All right, so I'm going to go to this third signature here. And just pick one. I think it might be this one here. Maybe this one. Okay, I'm going to go in that one. Okay. Put it this way, and then let's do the third one. I think I like it. There we go. And now we have like a little cute set of tabs here that I hope that's visible there for you guys. And it says, it like makes a little cute little sentiment. And then you have a marker for each. You could actually put it on the first of each one, but because of the way that I decorated mine, yeah, it's not, it wouldn't work out for me. I also added this shaker here, and like I just stuck this behind here. It's not like a permanent situation, but I just thought this would be a cute little way to make a tuck spot on here, but also make like a good way to lift this. So I added this onto here as well. So that's new too. And if I notice anything else, I will point it out. Okay, so let's talk about the outside of our journal now. I just want to check my list and make sure I'm okay. I wanted to make sure that I did not miss anything like big and important. Okay, so I have been very rough on this journal, which you can probably tell by the outside. It's also starting to get quite fat, but I have been very rough on it, and because it's not a hardback journal, I think it needs a little bit of extra help. So what I did is I just got some thin, flexible cardboard here, and I glued fabric to one side, and I glued just paper from the kit to the other side. And what I'm going to do is I am going to attach this to my spine here to kind of just shore it up on the outside, because my plan for the front of this, I'm also going to make the front assembly for this today. So I may not be able to attach the front piece to this because I'm also going to collage on the front of this. So I'm going to make the front piece so it's ready to go, and then I will decorate the front of this as well today. So that's my big major plan for today, is to get all of that done. I did a little bit of pre-work on this because I wanted to have the fringe at the top here of the fabric, and there's a little bit that's kind of sticking out the sides too that I don't hate, so I kind of like that too. And then this piece is going to go on here. This piece is going to end up going, oops, like this on top of it. But before that happens, I cut myself a bunch of snowflakes out of, let me see if I can find it here. This is a different snowflake die than the one I have had previously. I went searching through my die collection, and I found this one here, which is a tonic die, and it is Snowflake Trio, and it's like the line that it was from was Rococo. And I cut everything out of watercolor paper, and I did spray it with this mica mist, which is like a pearl kind of color, just to give it a little bit of shimmer. And I love the way that this came out with the shimmer on it. It's so pretty. So one of the things I thought I would do is glue snowflakes onto the existing cover here that I already have. And then I have a bunch of the collage papers and stuff like that from the kit today also that I can glue on here. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And then oh, here's this is the die. Oh, it's Festive Miniatures Snowflakes Tree. Sorry about that reflection there. But this is the die that I used to cut extra snowflakes out of. And they are so pretty. I cut them out of all different stuff. So I would have, like, this is music paper here. This is just white cardstock. And then this was stuff from the one of the papers from the kit. I've just been trying, like, to be really good about using up all of the stuff that I have printed so that, you know, it doesn't go to waste. So, and because I have such a great opportunity here to spend a lot of time on this journal, you know, it gives me the luxury of actually, you know, using everything that I prepared. Because sometimes I don't get to because I have, you know, like I move on to the next project, right? Okay, so let me get going with the spine situation here. So I'm going to glue this guy onto here to start, because what I need to do is work on integrating this extra piece that I'm gluing on into the actual journal. So I am going to use Fabri-Tac for this here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to use Fabri-Tac to glue this onto here, because I think I showed this to you already though, but like, because I have been rough on this journal and I've been dragging it all over the place, and like my spine, I can see it starting to give. I should have put cardboard in here when I made it, but you know, hindsight is 20/20, right? So I'm just going to glue this on here. And the reason I use this embroidered fabric is because it's what I had. It's one of those situations like, if I had had something that was flat around, I didn't. I had this embroidered sari silk like just hanging out on my desk, so I just used it. All right, so I'm just going to glue this on here. And I'm just going to center it on the base, or on the spine here. And just hold it for a minute so that everything gets glued together. I also got glue all over the front of this journal. I wish that I could I wonder if I could figure out how to do that. I like having the journal as a cohesive whole to work on, but it would be great if I could put the cover on last, because I have a tendency to get ink on the cover or things like that, you know, on the cover as I'm working, as I like to do little experiments, you know. I just want to make sure I'm getting that down, and I want to make sure that the actual spine is getting glued down flat onto the piece that I added. I'm going to add a little bit of glue here under there, and I'm actually going to probably end up clipping this right here. Because I really want this to adhere. Let's see if that looks okay. There we go. I wasn't sure if I was going to need a stronger clip right there. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing down here. Because that's where my structural issue is on this journal. So there's nothing you can't fix after the fact, right? All right, so I got that on there. Okay, now I'm gonna leave this for a minute, and we're gonna go and we're gonna start. I'm gonna set this aside so that it can kind of dry and set, and then when I and I'll work on the front piece while this is doing that. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to work on the front piece here. Now this is the stuff that I'm going to layer on my cover right here. This is my little cover assembly. It might look different, I think. I made several of these, and I think it was one of the times the camera like quit working or something like that, so I had to remake it. So, but this is the one I want to use on my cover, even if it's not the one I made in the last video, because I wanted to use the flowers on my cover. So that's why it might look different, but the inside is the same. So it still opens like this. But what I want to do is I'm going to use this ribbon to attach this charm here. I wanted to use a chain, but for some reason I only have like black chain, so I can't use chain. So I'm going to use this ribbon, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just attach it behind these two corners, and so it should move up and down when this opens and closes. Okay, so that's my plan with this. I know this is, but so what I did is I took another one of those snowflakes that had the little round circles on it, and I just glued rhinestones on it, and I highly recommend the glossy accents. Do I have it on my desk? That glue is so great. I love it. I don't know what I did with it. It's not on here, but I'll link it below. It has a really good precision tip, and even though my glue press also has a precision tip on it, the one on Glossy Accents is so great. The glue comes out at exactly the right speed to just put like a dab on there, which is what you need for this type of a situation. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I am going to do the glue here in the corner for just the string. I have the string pulled through like this just so I could see how I want it to look. It's way too long, but all I'm going to do is just glue it up onto this corner piece here, which is the piece that moves, so that when it opens and shuts, the charm will move up and down. I hope that's what's going to happen. Let's see what happens when I do it. Okay, so I'm going to glue this, and I'm going to have to be really careful because this is definitely something I should have done when I was assembling it, but I didn't get the idea until afterwards. So there you go. All right, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue onto the actual ribbon, and then I'm going to glue it up here. I'm trying not to let the glue hit the back because I don't want this to be glued down. So if you have a hankering to do a situation like this, just be really careful, because if you accidentally glue this down, you will wreck your mechanism. Okay, so I have a paper clip right here. All of my plans for today require a lot of drying. Okay, so I got that on there, and I'm going to grab a second paper clip so that I can clip this one as well. And that just kind of helps it clip. I'm going to pull this one out because I want to make sure that my ribbon is not twisted. Okay, so I'm just going to grab another paper clip, and then I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a tiny dab of glue on the ribbon, and then I can just clip the having trouble finding a tiny paper clip. Okay. All right, so my dream is to have the snowflake be like right about here. Okay, even though I still have my paper clips on there, it's sort of working. I think the only problem is I need gravity. So I need to make this charm a little heavier so that it hangs down, but I think it's mostly going to work the way that I want it to. It doesn't move a whole ton, but I think that overall, it's not too bad. All right, so that is, I'm going to leave the paper clips on there. Just, you know, for the time being, and then I'll take them off in about, you know, 5 minutes or something like that, just so that I know that everything is glued down okay. All right, so my next thing that I'm going to do here is I need to get this situation situated so that I can glue this on top of it. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to need to do is I need a piece of, I think I might just use this piece of cardstock here. I'm going to use this as like kind of just my base. I technically don't need this, but since my journal is actually over on the side drying and I don't want to wait for it to dry to set up my cover piece, I'm going to start doing that right now. And then as soon as, like, I think I can mess with that, I'll bring it back over here and then we can do a couple of things to the cover so that at least I have some progress made for this week. And then, you know, I'll have even more next week. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to glue this down on here. And then I'm going to put all my various layers on top of this. This is a little bit smaller than everything else, which is good for me because I don't want it to show at all. It'll just be there to help give this a little bit of structure. So I'm going to start with my snow layer here. I'm trying to get it as centered as I can. Okay, there's that. This is not exactly square because it was it's rough to try to cut something like this out square. This has a little glue on the edge of it. Get that off. Okay. All right, so there's that one there. And then on top of this is going to go the piece of like frayed linen here. Just so I have lots of layers underneath my cover here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move to the Fabri-Tac for this one, just to make sure that it sticks. want this to go on here. All right, and then finally I have this piece of fabric here. I used Fabri-Tac to put these two pieces of fabric together because I did not want to have any sort of seam or anything on there. So I thought that would make it a little bit more smooth because it's, you know, it's a layering piece. And the only thing I had in this, like, in purple fabric like that was those two pieces, and they were separate. So, or they were actually one long strip of fabric. So. All right, so this is going to go on top of that. I want to make sure this is over enough so that you can't see the white card, although I could trim it if I wanted to. Okay, that's much better. Okay, now that I have this here, I'm going to shut the... Oh, I need to trim this ribbon, don't I? Okay, I need to... if I can feed this back through because I'm nervous to cut that right there. There we go. Okay, that's trimmed off. That took me a second, but I got it. Okay, so now I have this piece here, and I want to add this onto the front of this. Okay, I'm going to grab my journal. Okay, I think we can actually use this. Okay, so I have these two pieces which are going to go on this front here. Like, what did I put in here? Like, I totally have bulked this thing up like crazy. I think if I take that out, it'll be a little bit flatter. Okay, yeah, so this is going to go on the front here, but first I have a bunch of other stuff that I want to do to this. Okay, because I have this, like, kind of ugly edge right here, which I definitely need to cover up. And okay, so that's why I have the papers from today, which were the collage papers. And I also have papers that are just like from the kit that, you know, I had previously printed out. So I collected all that stuff together, and then I'm just going to kind of work that around here. And then I have my snowflakes that I want to get on here as well. So I'm just going to get all that stuff like kind of glued down on here right now. And then I can put the actual cover piece on, which might not be able to be actually glued on until next week just because of the whole glue drying situation. Okay, what here is I've taken all of the papers from the kit today, plus some other bits and pieces that I had left over. Basically I don't have very much, but I have some background paper pieces in here as well from the kit, and I'm just gonna kind of go through this and stick these to my cover. And then once I have that done, this can dry, and then I will come back next week and I will be able to have like an actual finished cover by the end of this project, which will be a miracle given the rate that I have been going with this cover. So I'm just going to start with this one here, which is this kind of postcard one, which I think I may have used this in another part of the journal, just as a smaller piece. But I thought it'd be fun to have like a nice big piece as well for this. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on here. I'm going to give it a little bit of a trim because it's kind of butting up right close to the edge there. And I'm just going to grab glue and we're just going to go to town on this. This is probably one of my most favorite things to do here, is just glue stuff down. And this here is going to be the front. So you're actually probably not going to see a whole ton of what is going on the front, but you will probably end up seeing what's going on the back in the end here. Okay, so for the most part, I have all of the collaging done on the outside of this journal. What I will do tomorrow is go over the entire thing with collage medium, because I switched to glue stick about, I don't know, 20% in, because I realized it would be way less messy. So I will collage medium over this, especially over these very fragile snowflakes, especially the ones I did on a music paper. That paper is so fragile, it like just falls apart if you touch it. So, okay, so once I do the whole collage medium to the outside, I'm going to do, you know, I may not cover the spine with paper. I'm going to decide, I'll have a week to decide, right? And then I have this to add on still too as well. So we'll see what happens there. I need to decide what I want to do. So I'm going to think about it. I like the way this looks. I was sad to cover up what I had, but actually I'm not sad anymore. So that's good, right? And then next week, this will go on here, and then this will go on top of there. And then we'll have a little nice cover mechanism here. Hopefully once the glue dries. It only works if you have it like this because of the gravity, but that's okay. I can live with it. I like the fact that it opens to that. And I guess I have to come up with a closure for this as well. So, oh, I think I had an idea for that, didn't I? Okay, so anyway, I am going to end this video here. I appreciate you guys joining me today, and I hope you have fun with your journal, and I will see you guys next week. I hope you have a very happy holiday and a very Merry Christmas if you are celebrating this year, and I will see you very soon.